What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Tekken 8 Beginner's Guide. Today we're looking at Azucena, another newcomer to Tekken 8 and a fan favorite. In my opinion, she's pretty much a perfect character for newcomers. She has all the good tools you could possibly want. I think she teaches you the game in a very clean way. She has lots of Tekken fundamentals, but also has a lot of cheese that you can use, which will help you a lot in the lower ranks. So she really has it all. She's very, very strong in this game with a lot of great options. So, and again, like I said, she's pretty easy for new players. So you can pick her up pretty quickly. Does have some nuance, but overall, pretty simple character, so again, very good for beginners. As always, this guide is made specifically for beginners. My goal is only to try and show you, give you like a good feel for the character, go over some of her best moves, her general game plan, and basic stuff like that, so definitely for very new players. If you want more in-depth stuff, you're gonna have to look elsewhere for that. But yeah, I'm just trying to give you like the basic idea of the character. All you really need to have to know is just the basics of Tekken, and if you don't know that, you can go watch my Tekken Beginner's Guide, link will be in the description, and the basic notation, because I'll be referring to moves by the numbers. But that's about it. As always, we're gonna start with Azucena's key moves, including her basic pokes and basic strings to use in neutral. Then we'll transition into some of her launchers, some of her lows, basic combos, stances, and all that good stuff. So let's begin. We have a standard jab, pretty basic. Again, jab, very, very good. If you're new, use jab a lot. +1 on block, this means it's your turn. So if your opponent isn't respecting you, you can just keep doing this forever. Until they duck, they basically can't get out of this. So good jab, of course we always use our jab. Pretty okay range, not amazing, but definitely not bad either. We also have a string, so we have 1-1. So this is actually safe at -9, and it's a very, very nice mid check. So a lot of the time when we're pressing 1, our opponents will duck, right? That's how you beat jab spam. But so if you just do 1-1, we immediately catch that at only -9. So usually characters will have to use their down forward 1 to catch mids, but we can actually just simply 1-1, very simple, safe on block. What's interesting about her 1-1 is it actually leads into stance. So it's guaranteed after the first hit 1-1, 20 damage, and she goes into her stance. I'll be talking about her stance a lot later, but just keep in mind that basically when you're in your stance, you get access to some very strong, very, very strong 50-50 potential. Including like, yeah, hell sweep like that, you strong heat engagers. Don't worry about that for now, but yeah, just keep that in the back of your head. 1-1, very, very strong string. On hit, brings you into stance, and you get a full mix-up, which, what's not to like, right? Standard, like I said, down forward 1, pretty basic, -3 on block, so completely safe. Good mid check, decent range actually. It doesn't look very good, but it's kind of deceptive with how far it goes. Obviously, nowhere near like a Jin's down forward 1, but pretty decent. So yeah, generally when you're poking with Azucena in the middle of the game, using your 1, keep him honest, mix it up with down forward 1, 1-1 occasionally to catch him off guard. If it hits, you start your whole stance transition mix-ups. That's like a very basic game plan for Azucena. That works pretty well. We do have some strings off of down forward 1, so we can do down forward 1-4. This is very, very, very good. One of the best strings in the game, because this jails. So if you don't know what jails means, basically it forces your opponent to block if they block the first hit. So generally in these guides, I always talk about how strings that go end with a high are not very strong because good players eventually will duck that and they'll launch you for it, right? But down forward 1-4 is, they can't duck this. Even though it's a high, they just can't duck it. -7. So like I said, add this into your collection of poke moves, right? 1-1-1, down forward 1, down forward 1-4. Great options, right? And we also have a couple follow-ups off of the 4. So the one that most Azucena players like the most is the 1 option. So down forward 1-4-1. It's a multi-hit string. A couple downsides to this before I talk about why it's good. It's a high. This one can be ducked. So if we just set him to crouching block as soon as possible, it can be ducked, and you will get punished for that. Now, what's good about this, and there's a lot, basically in low level, this is going to be a string that you're going to be abusing. So, because no one knows how to duck this last hit. What's cool about this is if we set him to counter hit, down forward 1-4-1, we get a full counter hit launch. And then we lead, I'm going to talk about basic combos in a little bit, but Azucena's combo damage is pretty high. So just a basic counter hit launcher that's safe on block, that's pretty privileged. Not a lot of characters have that. So if you know your opponent, like whenever you're in their face, they like to just mash buttons, which again, in low level, they all will be doing. Basic, down forward 1-4. Keep them honest, nice counter hit launcher, safe on block. It can't be ducked. That's its only weakness, but very, very good for catching out players who like to mash. So keep that in the back of your mind. And we also have a little bit of a mind game here because if your opponent does start to duck this, which again, some good players will, we have a mid follow-up, which is 1+2, I believe. Mid follow-up gives a knockdown on hit. What's not to like, right? If we said to get rid of this, is it knockdown on regular hit? I don't remember. Yes, it is. So awesome option. If you know they're going to duck mid, this one is a little bit more risky, mainly just because it is -10 on block. So this is like your mid mix-up. If you know they're ducking the last hit, you get a good knockdown, which is really nice. -10, so if you do guess wrong, some players who know will punish you with like a simple 1-1-2. You'll take a little bit of damage. New players will not punish this at all, so I wouldn't worry about that. So yeah, those are your down forward 1 mix-ups. Very, very good options in neutral. And that's like a lot of what you'll be using in neutral. Speaking of neutral, so general moves you want to be using on Azucena, we've went over your pokes and your jab strings. We're going to talk about an incredible move, which is while running 3-2. So while running just means forward, forward, forward. You press forward 3 times, 3 and then 2. This is one of the best moves in the game. I'm sure if you've looked into Azucena, you've heard about this move. And this is one of your key moves in neutral. You want to be using this move all the time. While running moves are very simple to do in this game. In Tekken 7, it required a little bit of execution to do it while right in front of your opponent. No longer, you literally just press forward 3 times. You don't even have to press it very quickly. You can just relax, press forward 3 times, and then press 3 plus 2. So what's so good about this move? First of all, amazing range, obviously. You can just approach from like the other side of the stage. +5 on block. Again, you might not know a lot about frame data, but plus frames are always good. Plus frames means that after your opponent blocks it, you have the advantage. So you can keep pressing buttons and not have to worry too much at all. Great range. Plus on block, you keep your turn. You can link them together. If you have, this does take execution, but if you can press forward really fast, you can actually link these together before your opponent can even do anything. And if you look in the top right, we get nice chip damage from this. So this is an amazing move to use in neutral. It's a mid-high. It jails, so their opponent can't duck it. Once they get hit, there's nothing they can do. The second hit actually tracks. So a lot of people who don't know the character will try and sidestep to avoid this. You can't. The second hit will track you. What you actually have to do if you're wondering how to beat this is you have to sidestep and then immediately crouch. So if you sidestep and then crouch, your opponent can't punish you. In low level, this doesn't even exist. Even in high level, a lot of people don't know about this yet. So abuse this. I believe this is going to get nerfed eventually. So abuse this move for now. While running 3-2, amazing move. You can literally, like, it sounds silly to say, but you can play the character just like using your basic pokes that I mentioned earlier, and this move, and that's pretty much it because she's so incredibly strong. So amazing move. Don't underestimate it. Insanely strong. Some more basic strings you can use a lot. 2-1, very nice string. Again, high mid, can't be ducked. Only -3. That's awesome. Most 2-1s are a little bit more laggy than that, but hers is only -3. Basically neutral. You reset the situation with your opponent having a slight disadvantage. We have a follow-up, which is a high, so again, can't be ducked. So this is just 2-1, 1 plus 2. Just 2-1-2. And this gives a nice knockdown on hit, which knockdowns are always good. So you can keep that in there, keep your opponent honest. It's not guaranteed or anything, but if you've been using 2-1 a lot and you know they're not expecting it, throw in the 2, completely safe on block. It just can be ducked, which some good players might do. But great, right? So you're kind of seeing a theme here. Her poking is very, very strong. She has a lot of good, simple options to keep your opponent honest. Great jab strings, obviously the while running 3-2. This is like the basis of her kit. Some more moves that are amazing. Forward 3 is a very strong mid poke, good range, kind of similar to down forward 4, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But forward 3, good range, only -4, and what's cool about this is it takes us straight into our stance for good mix-ups that we're going to talk about later. So forward 3, keep that in the back of your mind. Good range, mid poke that takes you into stance, only -4, and you get a lot of cool mix-ups after that. Another great move that we need to talk about is 1 plus 2. This is a high, so can be ducked, but very fast to come out at 15 frames. Only -8, so completely safe on block. And what's cool about this one is it is a full counter hit launcher. Amazing move. Counter hit launchers aren't usually this fast, so having one like this, very, very good for Azucena. This is a great move to use. In terms of tracking, forward 4, when you know your opponent's going to sidestep, forward 4 is just a very quick, it's safe on block. Quick, track your opponent if they're trying to sidestep. Don't let them get away with that kind of stuff. Up forward 2. I'm going to mention this move a little bit later, but as you can see, look at the evasion. In low level, I know a lot of you guys aren't sidestepping, and you should be sidestepping. I talk about that more in my videos, but basically in low level players, people don't move around. So moves with built-in evasion are excellent. This will just dodge so much. If you're just like jab, jab, throw in the up forward 2, look at how evasive this is. It's safe on block. It is a high, so it could be ducked, but safe on block and gives a full counter hit launch into combo. Amazing move. Actually, you can just kind of throw it out in neutral. You'll dodge a lot of stuff. You'll get good hits. Yeah, don't sleep on this move. Very, very good move for her kit. Back 3. Amazing move. One of the best moves in the game. Look at the plus frames on this. +4. Now, to give you some context, the Electric Wind Godfist is only +5, and that's a frame-perfect input, and it's a high that can be ducked. This one cannot be ducked. This is a mid that gives you +4, has Power Crush, and is a heat engager. What's not to like, right? Like, it kind of just does it all. Heat engagers are good. Obviously, you want to get into heat. So this is an amazing move to throw out in neutral. You can just keep your pressure up, right? Again, plus frames just mean it's your turn, so you can just keep pressing buttons and not worry at all. A little bit slow at 22 frames, but really in low level, you don't have to worry about that too much. So this is a great move to use at the wall, especially. So like after a big combo, they're at the wall. Use this, keep them honest. If it hits, you get a nice heat engager. And if not, it's still your turn. Amazing move. Amazing, amazing move. Don't sleep on it. Forward, forward, 4 is a move that's kind of similar to this. It's slower, and it's not a heat engager. So why would you use it? And it's also only neutral on block instead of +4. But what's interesting about this one is on regular hit, it guarantees down forward 1-4. So it's kind of slow. So a lot of players might like try and think it's a high and like try and duck. If they do duck, just mash down forward 1-4. You get a guaranteed 49 damage off of this. So basically you choose between like, if you want like the plus on block heat engager, you go for this, the back 3. And if you're looking for more damage, you can go for this option. I wouldn't use it, like, don't use it all the time, but again, it's safe on block, neutral on block, and gives you a big reward on hit. So another excellent move. You're kind of seeing that like her risk reward really isn't that, she doesn't take huge risks, but she gets like a lot of reward off of it with a bunch of her moves. So another reason why she's so great for beginners. Sorry to interrupt the guide, but if you guys are finding this video helpful and are interested in supporting me, please consider subscribing. Only about 7% of my viewers are subscribed, and I'm trying to make this YouTube thing work out. I've got way more beginners guides coming, covering every single character in the game, advice for new players in ranked, analysis video, discussion, and just way more. So if you're interested in any of that, please consider subscribing. It really helps me out a lot. Anyway, back to the video. Down forward 4 is a safe mid poke that I really like, mainly because it has good range, right? If we just go to send into block, -7, so if your opponent's like kind of like standing a little bit further away, you can start to use this. It's probably your best range poke. What's cool about this is we have a follow-up, which, oops, we press 1 after. High follow-up, only -5, so completely safe, and it gives a good knockdown. And this is actually guaranteed, so if we set him to standing block as soon as possible, he can't block this. So this is a great whiff punishing tool. If you're just kind of like dashing around, you've done your pokes, your opponent runs in and whiffs something, you can just do down forward 1, or sorry, down forward 4, 1. Down forward 4, 1. Amazing whip punishing tool, 38 damage. So again, the range, like, don't underestimate this. Look, it's like it's hitting from all the way over here. And just press 1 immediately and you get nice damage. Good mid poke. We can quickly talk about some of her launchers, because I know people are always interested in that. Up forward 2, like I mentioned earlier, amazing, evasive, only launches on counter hit, but worth noting. Your down forward 2, great move, especially in low level. This is an amazing move to throw out. So it leads into your full combo, which don't worry, I'm going to get to the combo in just a minute. But this is great for keep out. So it's kind of like Paul's down forward 2. I'm sure a lot of new players don't even know that. But if you think your opponent like is going to run into you, you can just stay back, use this. They whiff anything in your face, use it, and you get a full combo. It is -13 on block, so a little bit risky. You're not going to take a full combo or anything like that, but players who know what they're doing will do some damage to you if you whiff it, or sorry, if they block it. But again, new players are not punishing this. So in low level, I'd suggest using this move as much as you can. You can get away with it a lot. It's a very good move in my opinion. Other launcher other launcher is up forward 4. So this is actually, despite, you'd think it'd be really laggy, right? But no, it is only -8 on block, so your opponent can't punish it for anything. What's cool about this is because she jumps, has full low evasion. So if you're like you're poking your opponent down at the wall, you know every time that I'm at the wall, they spam a low. Okay, well we just do this. Completely evade the low and get a full combo. What's not to like, right? So those are going to be your main launchers that you're going to be using. There are a couple more that I'll touch on in a little bit that come out of stance. But yeah, those are the general thing. In terms of combos, a lot of people ask me about combos for beginners. If you want amazing beginner combos, remember the sample combo tool is right here, and you get so many good options out of this for beginners. They're all very easy. So yeah, like I said, use the sample combos if you can, if you just want to know like beginner stuff. So I'll just go over a very simple combo that I like to use quickly. Great for beginners, not optimal, but again, if you're brand new, this one will do you very nicely. So this can be any combo starter. So the first hit does say up forward 4, but you can start it with down forward 2, while standing 2, any of the launchers we've been over. So if you do up forward 4, which is just how we're starting it, down forward 3, down forward 1, down 2, 3, 1 plus 2, forward 4, 4, 3. So I'll do that again. I'll just slow it down a little bit for you guys. But yeah, this is one that works off of all of her launchers and very good for beginners. So whatever your combo starter is, start it like this. Down forward 3, down forward 1, down 2, 3, 1 plus 2, forward 4, 4, 3. Oops, I'm missing the last hit, but I'll show you guys a different variation now. So if we do the down forward 2, start it with this, which is her better launcher in my opinion. Oops. There we go. There we go. That's the full version, because after the forward 4 at the end, if you press forward again, you kind of like go into a stance, or like you transition, and then the 3 is like the final hit. But the way I did it before works too. You can kind of pick your own thing here. Okay, so that's a basic combo on her. We can talk about lows really quick and some grabs, which I think are really important on her. Down back 3 is an amazing low, in my opinion. One of the best lows in the game, honestly. So what's cool about this, it just looks like a little poke at face value, right? Like, oh, not much damage. What's so good about it? +4 on hit, which is very good. You turn into your back stance, where like your back is facing your opponent, which I'm going to touch on later, but you transition into a stance automatically. And if we set him to crouching block, this is safe. Not many lows in the game are safe on block. That is very, very rare. And it transitions you into stance, so you get mix-ups. Excellent move, I have to say. This is a really good low. We also have a follow-up, I believe, in 4. As you can see there, it is a high, so if your opponent crouches, they'll dodge it. But if we just set him to normal, oops, or change him to just standing, because it's not guaranteed, as you can see there. I think on counter hit, it is guaranteed, but this is actually a full launcher. So if you know your opponent likes to press buttons, down forward 3, 4, you get a full launcher, and you can go into the combo route I talked about earlier. Just the finisher after the screw. So great option here. Like I said, I think on counter hit, this is guaranteed. I tested it earlier. I'm 90% sure it is, but I'll check just to show you guys. Yeah, so completely guaranteed on counter hit. This is a great low with a great follow-up. Don't sleep on this. Very good move. Down back 4 is a more damaging option. A little bit. It's chunkier. It's -14 on block, so some characters will launch you for it, but not too many. Pretty quick to come out. -3 on hit, so you do have to be a little bit careful, but this is a good low. This is a really good low. There's some more lows out of her stances, which again, I'm going to talk about just after this, but keep that in mind. Really quick, Azucena has some amazing grabs, especially in low level. No one uses grabs enough. You should be using them a lot if you're new to the character, in my opinion. So up forward 1 plus 2 is just a standard grab. 1 plus 2 break. Look at that damage. 40 damage. Your opponent has to press 1 plus 2 to break it. Most people don't know about this, don't know how to break it in low level, so you can get away with that a lot. But what's cooler than that is you actually have 2 unbreakable throws to mix up your opponent. Completely unbreakable. So down 1 plus 2, this is a low grab that is completely unbreakable. Once you hit this, no matter what, it's guaranteed. And it's a low, which new players are not blocking low, so you can get a lot of value out of this. It's like a pretty interesting interaction if they do block it. So if they do block it, you take a little bit. Oops, is he gonna crouch? As you can see there, you kind of get kicked and you take a bit of damage, but you won't get launched or anything, so not too risky overall. And we also have another cool mix-up. So if you know they're crouching because they think you're looking for this, we have a pretty interesting thing in down 1 plus 3. So down 1 plus 3, this is a mid grab that only works on crouching opponents. As you can see here, it's a heat engager as well. You get a cool animation, and you go straight into heat. It's a mid, so you'd think it hit during standing, but this actually only hits if they're crouching. So you have a cool little mix-up game there. Not like insane. Usually if your opponent's crouching, you just want to like use a launcher to launch them. But it is a heat engager, so it can be worth using. Kind of like pushes you forward a little bit, but you do overall need to be pretty close. So yeah, something worth noting. So now we're going to talk about her stance. So her stance is very, very, very strong, in my opinion. It's the Liberator stance. So we enter this in a couple of ways. We have the transitions, like I told you before. So 1-1 will take you right into it. And we can enter it manually. Forward 3 will also take you straight into it automatically. This is a good poke that I didn't mention earlier. Not that good. In my opinion, down forward 1 is better. Or sorry, down forward 4 is better. But anyway, the stance, you enter this manually by pressing forward 3+4. And what's really interesting about this stance is that she will actually stay in the stance. So normally stances on characters, they stand still and just for like a split second, they switch positions and you get access to a new move. Azucena's stance, this one lasts infinitely until you cancel it. And you can, one of the few characters where you can move around while in her stance. So if you press forward, you can dash in, dash back with pressing back. You can go left, go right. You can literally move around in her stance. And that's really cool option for her. What's also cool is that you have a built-in parry. So while you're in your stance, if your opponent hits you with a high or a low, you will automatically dodge it. Built-in parry. It gets a lot stronger in heat, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but very, very good, especially for new players who don't know that you have to check her with mids. It doesn't parry mids, so mids is kind of the counterplay to this. But what options do we have at a stance? We actually have a couple very good options, in my opinion. We have a core 50-50 that most Azucena players will use. So that is 2, which is a safe mid heat engager. Very quick, comes out at 14 frames, and brings you straight into heat to start your pressure. I'll show you just on block so you know it's safe. -8, completely safe on block, but they won't want to be standing guarding, usually, because you're threatening the hell sweep. So out of stance, if you do down 4-4, Azucena has, in my opinion, a pretty strong hell sweep option. So this is guaranteed. As soon as you hit the low, the rest is guaranteed. Good 32 damage. Pretty decent range, actually. Like, trying to think of how far away. Yeah, it hits from there. So for a hell sweep, the range, like, don't underestimate it. It's pretty decent. Won't hit from like that far, but so yeah, usually when you go into stance, you're threatening either the 2, Power Crush, or the Hell Sweep, the down 4-4. Great, great at the wall as well. Very good low to use at the wall. You can get a lot of value from this low in low level. So yeah, definitely one of your main ones you want to use. If you want to go a little bit more risky, we have 1+2 out of stance, which rather than the safe 2, which just gives you a heat engager, 1+2 will give you a full launch. So more risky, -14. Some characters will launch you for this, but you have a launcher, so if you know they're going to crouch, you can go for this, and you get a full combo, like I mentioned earlier. Pretty decent launcher in my opinion. Again, in low level, no one's really going to be punishing this, so you in low level you could really just threaten the hell sweep and then threaten the 1+2 launcher. But once people start learning how to punish stuff, you'll be using the 2 option a lot more, in my opinion. We have 3, which is a low that's very similar to her, what is it, down back 3 I mentioned earlier. So this is +2 hit. It's safe on block. I think it's -9 on block, and it transitions her into the back stance again. So if you're looking for a safe low option to go into more pressure, 3 is a cool option out of stance. And finally, if you think they're going to sidestep, we press 3+4 to track them. This one also has, I believe this also has pretty good Power Crush. Yeah, Power Crush as well, so if you know your opponent's going to press, you can use this option. High, so it can't be ducked, but it's safe. And yeah, if you know your opponent likes to sidestep, this is a good option to use. Something worth noting as well, you have a pretty decent string for low level. So while you're in the Punisher, or while you're in the stance, you just do 4-1-2. This is actually a launcher. So if we do 4-1-2, launcher on regular hits. How about that? A lot of players will just press. And just get hit by this. And it's only, I think it's only -10 on block, so really not that risky for you at all. Yeah, only -10. So at worst, you're going to take like a 20 damage, but if your opponent presses or they let go of their block, full launch. So that's a pretty good option that you can use as well. Let's talk about our moves while she's facing backwards. So that was the stance I mentioned earlier. So usually you'll go into this stance after pressing down back 3. A couple options. 2 is a safe mid. So just safe. And what's cool about this one is if you mash 2 after, you get a little animation that does good damage. Now in the move list, it says this move is a just frame. It's not. I don't know why it says that. If you literally just press 2 and then mash it, keep pressing 2 immediately after, you'll never miss this. So good. That's our good damaging mid option. 3 is your main low. This one gives really good frames on hits. +4, and it transitions you back into your Liberator stance. So really cool options here. Don't like worry about it too much when you're new, but just like get the idea. Like she has a lot of cool options like this. While in stance, she auto parries highs and lows, which she already did before. But while in heat, which is interesting, so we're going to talk about heat now really quick. She gets she gets way more damage. So if we just quickly turn heat on, we go to player's heat, turn it on, and we go to a simple standing and then punish, set him to just like a simple jab. That should work just to show you what I want to show you. So you see how as soon as I'm in stance, if he presses anything, any high or any low, while you're in heat, you get a guaranteed hit. And what's cool about this is it also gives you a guaranteed forward 3. So again, I'll show you one more time. If he hits me, let's see if he hits me. Oops. It's kind of tricky. You got to like dash in first, but you do get a guaranteed. There you go. Guaranteed forward 3. So 41 damage. And I believe the low gives you a full launch. So very strong when you're in heats. Your opponent doesn't want to hit you while you're in stance. What's also cool is that activating your stance with a forward 3+4 while you're in heat gives you a cool dash forward. This can get the opponent very, very stressed. Just good way to close the gap. Does cost a bit of your bar, but good option. Very good option for mix-ups. We have a standard heat smash. Pretty good range. She kind of like jumps forward. It's as all heat smashes are. It gives you very good plus frames on block, +6, and takes you right into stance for an immediate mix-up. And again, if they press, you get the auto parry. So decent heat smash. Not amazing. If it started with a mate, it'd be a lot stronger. Because she kind of jumps up like this, it can be pretty awkward to whiff punish with. But overall, pretty decent heat smash. Nothing to complain about there. Stance 2. Oops. So in terms of heat engagers, I'll talk about them really quickly. Which I already mentioned most of them, but just like as like a good recap for you guys. While you're in stance, 2 is a very good one, safe on block. Back 3, plus on block, amazing heat engager. And forward 1+2 is another good safe on block, high, very quick. Those will be your main heat engagers. I'll go over punishment really quick. So if we just set him back to here. For punishment, we have basic 10 frame is either 1-1 going to stance or 1-2 for way more damage. I suggest probably just take the damage for 1-2, but if you do want to start mix-ups, you can go 1-1 into stance. It's your call. 12 frame is just 4-1. 14 frame is 3-3. And 15 frame is a launch with down forward 2 into combo. Crouching punish, 11 frame is 11 frame is while standing 4-1. So as you're coming up 4-1. And while standing 2 is your launcher. That's about all I've got for today. That's going to be Azucena. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like the video and subscribe if you want to see more guides like this. Maybe I'll do an advanced one eventually. But yeah, that's been Azucena. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys later. Take it easy.